Hi dancers, it's time for holistic journaling. I don't have my notebook that I've been keeping track with, but I think this is number 39. So in our state, at least, and in our studio, we're starting to talk about deadlines for opening back up. So with that in mind, I thought today we could talk about some realistic and practical and hands-on ways we can start preparing ourselves emotionally and physically to be back in the studio. So I think it's hard to stay motivated when you don't have a definite goal in mind. So I think for my students, for most of my students and for me, we have a definite goal of performing our Alice in Wonderland in June. And that can be something different for you, and it can be different based on what kind of dance you do, or whether you're a professional or a student, or what your studio is planning, what your company is planning. But for us, the end of June, we're definitely going to perform. The question is that going to be in person? Or is that going to be like a movie, a dance movie? But having that timeline, like, okay, the end of June, I've got to be ready. And I want to look my best, I want to dance my best, I want to feel my best, and I want to emotionally be ready to perform again. It's hard. So there's a lot of different ways you can kind of prepare yourself. Maybe you just you start reviewing your videos on your own. Maybe you start having a little more compassion for yourself and for your body and start stretching, start doing some classwork. Maybe you start doing your Zoom classes that you haven't been doing before. You start doing YouTube classes that you haven't been doing before. Maybe you dedicate a little more time to your art and to your dance and add that to your daily school schedule. That can present itself in a lot of different ways, but one of the ways that I've looked at that I feel like is helpful for a lot of people is bullet journaling, and I am certainly no expert, but today I put together a May template for some realistic goals and some ways to track your mood, some examples of like how to structure your days and mix them up a little bit, but do something for your dancing and yourself every day, and then some weekly goals, and then some monthly goals, and then some ways to indicate whether you completed those, whether you're postponing those, how you're feeling about those, and then that gives you a really solid way to keep yourself accountable every day, but then also look back and see, wow, I had a lot more unmotivated and tired days last week. I wonder how I can change what I'm doing to give myself some happier days. So with that in mind, I want you to think about what you think the next month is going to look like in getting yourself ready to re-enter the world and re-enter the dance studio and re-enter normal, whatever normal is going to mean for you. So in our Instagram and our Facebook, I'm going to share some images of the bullet journal I put together for you guys as inspiration, or you can use it directly. And I can also email that to you, to anybody. And you can edit that however you need to, or you can just handwrite your own. And this isn't like a one-size-fits-all thing. But your prompt today is, what am I going to need to re-enter the dance world, to re-enter the studio, and how am I going to hold myself accountable and start gently pushing myself to be ready for whatever my big goal is, performance, or just going back to the studio, intensive, going away for the summer. How am I going to get myself ready? How am I going to hold myself accountable? And maybe look at the bullet journal and see if that's something that speaks to you and looks like it would help you personally. And you can adapt that to your needs. So as always, reflect on that yourself, or you can write down some goals for yourself. Maybe you're going to start your bullet journal because the first is tomorrow for us. Maybe you have a different plan, but start putting that in action and giving yourself the space to set some goals and accomplish some goals and work towards an end. There's light at the end of the tunnel, guys. We're going to be together again. So how are you going to get there? So reflect on that, write it down for yourself, talk to somebody else about it, or talk to us about it. We're here if you need us. All right, kids, see you later.